Chapter 5. Josiah. He collapsed on the bed with his arms stretched beside him and his legs hanging off the side. The movement had rustled his robe, and the chilly central air conditioning rose goosebumps on the newly exposed skin. At this point, there was nothing left to do. Josiah had given up on a flight out of Vegas, and he had rerouted all of his packages for the time being. Social media was on fire with news about the lockdown, but he was sick of hearing about it. He knew he was lucky. It was one thing to be locked down in a rundown studio apartment, and another to be locked down in an exclusive penthouse suite with floor-to-ceiling windows and the best view Vegas could offer. It wasn't a bad view, but the view from his Bali vacation home was much better. His tongue itched with a desire for the sweet juices of fresh, warm tropical fruits and the muggy summer temperatures. He wanted the sun-kissed glow against his mahogany skin, and he wanted to enjoy the sheer romance of the possibility of a summer fling. He wanted to look across the beach and make eyes with a hot stranger, smile, and continue padding barefoot along the shore with water licking at his ankles and his toes dipping into the soft sand. With a sigh, he grabbed his cell phone and dialed Bentley's number, rolling over onto his belly and propping his torso up with his elbows as he did. He placed the call on speaker and picked at his nails until his best friend answered. "Did Ingrid already get you?" "Yes," Josiah groaned. "I don't need another lecture. I promise. I solemnly swear I don't need another lecture on the big stupid I did last night." "It wasn't a big stupid. You needed it. Now, you've got some cleaning up to do, but your reputation is squeaky clean, so it shouldn't be hard." Is it stupid to talk about me and my reputation when the whole country is shut down because of a novel virus? Did you want to talk about the shutdown then?" Josiah sighed. "I don't know. Honestly, I'm already sick of this. I want my normal life back, and it hasn't even been a full day of quarantine. Yeah, I spent all morning contacting clients. Everyone's afraid the stock market is going to crash, so they want to pull their money out, but it's just too soon to know any of this. People are operating in fear. Yeah, and they don't have millions to their name to insulate them from these types of problems. Did you know the average person is like 3 paychecks away from being homeless or something?" "Are you sure? That seems wrong." I'm not 100% sure, but it's a pretty likely number. Anyway, I have to ask. Did I what? Lose my virginity last night?" "No. I didn't." "Oh," Bentley sighed. "Good. Don't sound too relieved. Ray wants us to pretend to be in a relationship. He thinks it'll help my reputation, along with helping the public view of his business." Well, he's not wrong there. Stumbling into the elevator with a guy you've never been seen with before isn't a good look for anyone, especially not an influencer who is public and open about his sexuality and about being a virgin. Being a virgin really isn't a big deal. I just want my first time to be special is all. Josiah sighed and stretched out across the bed again, dangling his arms and legs over the sides of the frame. It's not a big deal, but a lot of people look up to you for it and are modeling themselves after you. You tell people it's okay to wait, and it's okay to stay out of today's hookup culture. If you lose your virginity on a one-night stand, well, it's off-brand. Should my virginity really be a brand, though? Getting off track. If you publicly announced a relationship with Ray, I predict your followers and fans will respond favorably. I know Quentin hated being in your videos, but Ray may not be the same way. He may not, but it's still fake. We'll still actually break up later, you know what I mean? Sure, but way later. At least not until after this lockdown business is over. I guess. There are also a lot of logistics to figure out if I'm really planning to go through with this. Well, are you? You can say no, you know. He'd basically be using your fame to scrub his image clean. A bad boy dating a virgin and all. Oh yeah, speaking of bad boys. Have you checked out Quentin's socials? No. Should I? Probably not, honestly. He's making it sound like the breakup was a mutual growing apart. He's conveniently leaving out how he cheated on you. Of course he is, Josiah drawled. What's he saying? I didn't watch the whole thing, but he's got your name in the title, and it's one of those clickbaity crying covers. He's really hamming it up, and especially since you haven't posted anything since the breakup, either. I should post something? Listen, man. I don't know. You're the social media expert. See what Ingrid thinks you should do, but definitely don't take my word for it. True. Your social media feed is terrible. There's just no theme, and in a bad way. Bentley chuckled. Yeah, well, I'm not really into the social media thing. Yeah, it's obvious. There's Josiah picked at the fibers on the bedspread. There's one more thing I need to tell you. What? I kind of invited Ray to my suite last night apparently, and he was here this morning. I woke up next to him. Well, not technically next to him, but like next to him. Meaning? Josiah didn't speak, and Bentley gasped as the realization dawned on him. Dude, you're quarantining with a guy your family hates. Your family and the Yamadas are like sworn enemies. I know, Josiah groaned. It's why I don't know if this fake relationship idea is smart. I mean, for your reputation, it's smart, but if you're worried about offending Daddy, then nah, it's probably a bad idea. My daddy doesn't even care what I do. He hasn't called me. You'd think, at least call your kids and check on them, right? Nope. I haven't heard a word from him. Sorry, man. It's okay. I'm used to it now. At least he calls on my birthday, I guess. Yeah, at least. Anyway, I don't mean to be a buzzkill, but I have to get back to some work. Try to take it easy, all right? Just because you can work during a nationwide lockdown doesn't mean you should. Josiah chuckled. Yeah, sure. I guess the whole world is telling me I need a vacation now, huh? Pretty much. I'll talk to you later, kid. Okay, bye. Bye. When the call ended, Josiah flopped back on the bed, closing his eyes. The morning had been beyond exhausting. Between adjusting to a sudden new normal and accepting the fact that he was going to have to go through this new normal with the son of his father's enemy, he could barely keep his eyes open once his head hit the pillow. 2 hours later, he woke up from a light sleep. In truth, he hadn't realized he had fallen asleep, but the clock was 2 hours later, and there were few explanations. Sure, aliens could have abducted him for 2 hours and then erased his memory, but it wasn't the most plausible story. Sure, he could have the ability to bend time to his will, and he passed 2 hours while blinking, but that wasn't a very plausible story either. He spent the rest of the afternoon studying his suite, searching for the best places for photo and video shoots. Part of the reason he got into being a social media influencer was because he loved art and photography. Josiah's whole career started with a series of pictures for a college freshman art project, and it had expanded from there. He mostly focused on clothes and personal grooming for men, and none of it was about being feminine. Josiah was only gay because he liked cock. He didn't like makeup or hair care beyond seeing a barber regularly, and he had no interest in painting his nails. He did, however, like a manicure and pedicure regularly, but those things were healthy, not a reflection on his sexual preferences. He had brought a wide selection of clothes, but most of it was designed for lounging on the beach and club hopping at night, not actually chilling at the house. After another conversation with Ingrid, he recorded a series of posts to both comfort his followers and let them know he was okay. Perfecting the posts occupied most of his afternoon, and by the time he had completed them, his stomach rumbled. Josiah dug around his suitcase, pulling out a pair of sweatpants and pulling them over his bottom half. He let them sag on his hips as he sauntered out of the bedroom. There weren't many places for either of them to go, so when he didn't find Ray in the living room, he poked his head into the kitchen and dining area, spying the other man still in front of the laptop. He'd found the charger at least, but he was laser-focused on his task, and it was admirable. Josiah crossed his arms over his chest as he watched Ray work uninterrupted. Ray didn't look up immediately, but when he did, he did a double take when he noticed Josiah. Hey, sorry. How long have you been standing there? At least 10 minutes, but I didn't want to interrupt your concentration. Ah, thank you. Ray shut the laptop as Josiah pushed himself off the wall and crossed the room, sitting down across from Ray. It's about time to get some food, isn't it? Yeah. I was wondering what you were in the mood for. Anything really. I don't want to make things difficult on room service, so they can bring up whatever they have for me. What about you? Salad and lean protein. You haven't eaten all day. You're going to need more than rabbit food to tide you over all night. We could get them to deliver an assortment of ingredients, and I can make something up for you. Josiah arched an eyebrow. You can cook? Enough. Your parents taught you how to cook? No, Ray laughed. My sister and I were alone a lot because my parents worked such long hours when we were young. I learned to cook out of necessity, not out of interest or desire. Anyway, let me call downstairs. Sure. Oh, Ray? Yeah? I want to do it. I'm willing to do this fake relationship boyfriend thing with you, but we have to lay out the terms and conditions and draw up some sort of contract. And then I want my social media manager to look over it. Ray wet his lips, watching Josiah as he spoke. He nodded. Yeah, his voice cracked. Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll get this food ordered, then we can discuss it. Okay. Josiah smirked. Can't wait.